So
Isn't that
yeah.
gas?
So you were doing the kind of journalism, media, and all that, and then
Yeah.
what? And so what brought you into starting the company?
Yeah, this is wild. So my dad would have had his own business for 40 years, and he did like shop fittings. You know, if there was like a new deli or there was like a new estate agents opening up, his business would have looked after, like decking that out basically.
Okay.
Grew up watching him with his own business and thought, I will never do that. I will never, had no ambition to ever run my own business ever. Tried the media thing, didn't work out. Tried teaching for a while, was like, love the kids, can't discipline a child, so this is not for me. Tried studying to be a counsellor, tried that and this is all my 20s. Tried what else was there? Oh, there was loads. Like I worked as a receptionist, loved that, but like just wasn't for me long term. And
I
then
love that you tried so many things.
Yeah.
I think your 20s is for trying, and I was quite different. I knew I wanted to be a lawyer from the age of like 5. I was like, I'm going to be a lawyer. My aunt, it's funny, my aunt used to say to me, someday, Yvonne, you're going to be a lawyer or a doctor. And I think she actually just got into my subconscious mind.
brain.
But then the O.J. Simpson trial was on when I was in California at 12. So I used to just watch it. But I want people to know that are listening in, like, doesn't matter what age, like try different things.
Yeah.
And if you
I
don't,
wish I'd said that to myself when I was younger as well, that it's okay to do that. Because I felt, will I use the word shame? Yeah, I guess I did. I felt a bit of shame with regards to not knowing exactly what I wanted to do. And then often finding, oh no, I really like this job, but it just didn't fill whatever that was for me.
there was something more for you.
Yeah. And I always felt like there was, but it definitely meant that I was very frustrated at times in my 20s because I felt like I had a lot of ambition and a lot of drive, but I was like, I'm not putting this into the right thing. Or
You just needed to figure out what that was for you. And how did you figure it out? I
Yeah.
think this is a question for a lot of people. They're like, but I don't know what I want to do.
Oh my God, my whole 20s were like, I don't know what I want to do. And then the more I tried things and they weren't my thing, the more maybe fearful I got of trying another new thing. I was like, oh God, can I really get excited about this new avenue that I'm going in? But what happened was, in the meantime, my sister Aoife and her husband Gav had started a new business, and they'd started this business with a couple as well. So 2 couples had started, and it was called the Irish Fairy Door Company.
Yeah.
So they did the little fairy doors for kids. And Aoife is like from another planet, we always say, because she is the most creative woman. Like she could make magic out of anything. And I just remember she has 3 children now. Her eldest is like 20 nearly. But she just always made everything so magical for the kids growing up. And she got that. Like our mom is very creative as well. Like, would just make something out of nothing. But the fairy door story, I think a lot of people will be familiar with because they would have been on the toy show, and they had I remember we got a mention from like Kourtney Kardashian at the time on Snapchat. Like it grew very quickly for them. But they needed someone to look after their customer care and social media. And I was working as a receptionist at the time, and I thought, God, I've never worked with a family, but like it was such a creative business, and it was really like go, 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 dynamic, and there was a great little team forming within the business. And I was like, well, I've worked in a receptionist, so I know what customer care is. Like I like people and I like looking after people. I mean, social media, I'm always on it. It was only really Facebook. Like Facebook was big for them at the time. So I came on board with the Fairy Door Company, and that would have been like 2015, I think. And learned I could do our whole chat just on that. But I learned so much seeing their experience of what to do, what not to do, the kind of things that can happen. A lot changed within the business. So yeah, just continued on the fairy door journey. And then a lot changed within the business because a silent investor came on board, and there was like a big shift within. Now this was months in the making, but it became very stressful because dynamic completely changed. And this is coming into then, God, that would have been like towards the end of 2019. So Brian and I were engaged at this point. We had just moved into our house. So that was great. Sorry, I'm actually going ahead of myself. Like the Le Gras gifts had finished, but after a few months again, I kind of felt like I still had more in me to give, and I was picking up bits of information all the time through how like Fairy Door would have worked. And I guess it was always that voice nagging away at me, like, there's more I can do, I just have more in me. Things, obviously we'd lost Dott in that time, like there was a lot going on. And it was actually a colleague of mine that I worked with in Fairy Door at the time was like, why don't you just start selling something that you can just pick and pack? Like, like if you still have something in you feel like that, there's something there. Yeah. Why don't you just it's just a matter of taking it from a shelf, putting it in an envelope and shipping it? And I was like, God, that's a great idea. And he was like, like you're really into the glam life. Like you love dressing up, you love jewelry. Like, and I do, that's always been who I am. And anyway, like I'm going to make this sound so simplistic because it wasn't, but I did end up finding a manufacturer, and this was just Google. This was like going through Google. find one.
The power of Google.
power.
The
You have to sit there.
The amount of people that have sat and talked about their business. And I'm like, but how did you start? And you know what they say? Google.
Just time and dedication, and like a lot of patience, and learn, like, it's like everything in business, like you learn the hard way. So I had a bit of savings, Brian had a bit of savings, my parents had a bit of savings, and I think we came to about €1,000 or something, and we all came together, and I had found this man. I loved the contact from this particular manufacturer, and I was like, great, okay, contact is great. Ordered a few samples from them. Samples came, picked 3 necklaces and 3 pairs of earrings that I liked, ordered like 25 of each or something like that, and then a few weeks later they arrived. So Brian actually came up with the name Rosie and Dott, so that wasn't even me, can't even take credit for that. But the stock arrived, started a Facebook page, but just announced to, you know, family and friends, like, this is my new gig, I'm just trying to see how this is going to go. And the thing with Rosie and Dott from the very start, Yvonne, like, it's always been really good, thankfully busy. So from the get-go it just took off. Now at the time there was no one really online who was doing like really good high quality jewelry for an affordable price for like nicer, more fancy events. Like, that wasn't there. Now there's more competition now, but at the time that just didn't exist, you know. And I knew that there was a gap.
So
in
you
the market.
literally started your business with €1,000.
Yeah, literally €1,000. Yeah, €1,000.
Like,